Well, hello all you fine people out there in YouTube land. This is the NRA Man Forever coming to you once again from South Texas. And before I start this video, I want to throw a disclaimer out. I'm black, I'm Mexican. It probably, who am I kidding? It don't sound like it, but I am. I am a minority, but the shit that's about to come out of my mouth is in no way, shape, or form related to or affected by race. That being said, I have not been living under a rock. I was well aware of the George Zimmerman verdict within hours of it, just as everybody else was. I think George Zimmerman getting off for, at the very least, manslaughter is an affront to the legal system. It is a slap in the face to any and everybody who can read, maybe not necessarily understand, but fucking read legislation. Now, unlike a lot of people that watched that drama play out from the sidelines, I actually did a little bit of research into the situation. Zimmerman's side of the story, Trayvon Martin's side of the story as told by evidence and witnesses, and the Florida State Legislature's side of the story in regards to the Stand Your Ground law that was controversially and incorrectly, I'll say it again, incorrectly used by the defense attorney of George Zimmerman. Now, this is going to be a real shocker to some of you people, especially with a name like NRA Man Forever. I am an NRA member. I hate gun control. I love guns. I love freedom. And most importantly, I love the freedom that Stand Your Ground, or as they're called in Texas, Castle Doctrine laws, afford the average citizen to defend themselves and their freedom with a firearm. However, I only love them when they are used correctly and in accordance with the actual legislation that grants that right to the citizenry. Now, that being said, let's take a look at this. George Zimmerman was a neighborhood watchman, a volunteer, and let's face it, a fucking wannabe cop. I have had law enforcement training. I have done on-scene criminal investigations. I used to be a law enforcement officer. Now, based on the evidence, and the evidence alone, well, you know what? Not the evidence alone. Also, the actual wording of the Stand Your Ground law in the state of Florida. George Zimmerman, by all accounts, should have at the very least been convicted of manslaughter. The Stand Your Ground law in Florida, as it is in every other state that has a Stand Your Ground law or similar laws in effect, allows a citizen to defend themselves when confronted or cornered by a threat. It allows them the opportunity to basically say, fuck retreat, I'm going to deal with this right here, I'm going to nip it in the bud. Stand Your Ground laws are null and void when you pursue your assailant, or you pursue your victim, who then turns into your assailant, and you use the gun to bail out of a situation you got your own dumbass into to begin with. George Zimmerman, he called 911 to report a suspicious individual. Now that's fine. All the power to you, man. Do what you gotta do to keep your neighborhood and your home and yourself safe. Against the advice of the 911 operator, which in most municipalities and for most agencies are civilians, not sworn law enforcement officers, So they can't really get him for that. He pursued, maybe not ran after, maybe not chased down, but he did pursue his assailant, Trayvon Martin. Now, it was only after Zimmerman pursued his assailant that his assailant became his assailant. Up until that point, he was a victim of profiling. George Zimmerman, I hope you watch this video. I hope you stumble across it. I really do, because you're nothing more than a fucking murderer. And if you thought you needed a gun to defend yourself now, just wait, Hoss. There's nowhere you can go. There's nowhere you'll be able to hide. Eventually, somebody's going to find out who you are, and enjoy your life looking over your shoulder, because you are no more free now than you would be if the jury had done their goddamn job and convicted you. You may be free legally, but in a practical sense, you are just as incarcerated as if you were actually sitting behind bars, you piece of shit. This is the NRA Man Forever, reminding you, united we stand, and divided we surely will fall. And guys and gals out there in the community, we got to keep the George Zimmermans of the firearms community in line. If you know somebody that could potentially be a George Zimmerman, and they do some stupid shit like this, or they talk about doing some stupid shit like this, smack the fuck out of them. Knock some sense into them. I'm all for having a gun for self-defense. I'm all for keeping a gun for self-defense. I'm all for using a gun for self-defense when legally justified. Pursuing someone, starting some shit, getting your ass kicked, and using the gun to bail you out of a situation you started? No. No. Fuck that. That is a bitch move.